sister. I love you, Queen. Nekima, Levy, Artmstrong.
All right, y'all. It's really frustrating that we have to keep saying the same thing again and again and again, and having people act like they don't understand, acting like they don't understand what has happened historically, where we have always been told that our lives are worth a fraction of white lives. And we just saw that being played out again in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And like somebody just said, that the judge in that case acted like Kyle Rittenhouse was his grandson. It was despicable and disgusting to watch. As a mother of a child who will be a black boy who will be 17 next month, it made me sick to my stomach to think that Kyle Rittenhouse's mother helped perpetuate white supremacy. What kind of mother drives their child across state lines with a high-powered weapon? But here's the deeper thing to me. When I think about the impacts of the child protection system on black families and Native families, I'm wondering where the hell is child protection in a situation like this? How does that mother escape accountability? How many times when our children get into trouble, even doing things that are minor, are the parents demonized? How many times is the community demonized? How many times are black families pathologized when they're just being who they are? But when a white mother rises up, she didn't have to have a white hood on for us to know what she stood for. She has not been held accountable, which is unacceptable. And it reminds me of another person, and that was Derek Chauvin. Because y'all remember what he did. But did we learn about his family?
Yes, we did.
Did we learn about his upbringing? Did we learn about how his parents raised him? Did we learn about the community that he grew up in? No. If we're talking about a pathology, we need to be looking at what is happening in white families across America.
Come on.
And what I said, we need to be looking at what is happening in white families across America.
That's right.
That's not something we should shy away from.
That's right.
Okay, because y'all are out here because you care about black lives and you care about justice, but there's a whole lot of families that are sitting back, perpetuating white supremacy and racist ideology and anti-blackness, and nobody is holding them accountable.
That's right.
How many white folks are scared to even broach the issue of racial injustice and white supremacy at the dinner table? We got a racist holiday coming up, Thanksgiving.
Come on.
Right? And we know that a lot of folks are going to celebrate Thanksgiving, but how many are going to put these issues on the goddamn table and hold their white relatives accountable for what they are doing, what they are saying, what they are thinking, how they are treating black people, and how they're treating white allies who stand with black people, as we saw what happened in Kenosha.
That's right.
They were standing in the gap in solidarity for black lives, and they were treated just like black people. So we need to understand that. And this is something that Mel Reeves came up and talked to me about as we gathered here, about a piece he wrote talking about Kyle Rittenhouse and how those individuals that he killed and that he shot were like end lovers, right? That's how they were viewed. And that's why they got the treatment that we often get as black people. There's no way in the world that if Kyle Rittenhouse was black or any other young man of color, that he would have been allowed to walk freely on the streets of Kenosha, let alone kill somebody, shoot somebody, walk up to the cops with some white supremacist hand signal and run his ass back across state lines. And then after he did all this harm, he has the nerve to bring about white tears on the stand. Yes, he was faking. I didn't see a single tear drop from his eyes. And if your ass is that scared, you should have stayed in Illinois. You don't get to kill somebody and then cry later. But that's what white supremacy has done in this country. They have authorized white men to kill again and again and again and again and again and again and again, and to get away with it. But what we're saying is enough is enough. I said enough is enough. Enough is enough. We have to be willing to use our voices. And we cannot be confused when people show up trying to tell us what's best for our community. And you don't see none of their asses out here. I saw collars, I saw white progressives telling us what we need from Minneapolis. Where are they now? Where were they then? Where were they when we went to Bob Crow's house, demanding that he be fired or resign? Nowhere in sight. Where were they when we shut down I-94? With over 646 of us still facing criminal charges for standing up for black lives and standing up for justice. They wasn't out there. So you see people, imposters, coming out the woodwork trying to tell us what's best for our community. If you're really about this life, then get out on the front lines and use your white privilege. And I have to remind people that just because somebody says that they're progressive doesn't mean that they stand for racial justice. A progressive agenda is not necessarily synonymous with the racial justice agenda. And we see where we bump heads when we start asserting ourselves as proud black people fighting for black liberation. That's when suddenly people don't want to listen to what we have to say. They want to ignore our perspectives. They want to ignore our experiences. But just like Kim said, I refuse to back down. I refuse to shut up. I refuse to run. I'm standing up on the shoulders of giants. The people who came before us. The people who lived to tell the story. The people whose blood was shed because of their black skin. So I will not be moved. And if somebody is claiming that they're progressive and they care about black lives, then show the damn proof that that's what you stand for. Don't just come knock on our doors telling us vote blue no matter who. And then when we vote for their asses, they say shit like what we just heard from Biden. The system works. And he knows he's a liar. The system does not work. Unless you agree that the system is working just as it was intended to work. That's the only way that you can say that. So I'm asking those so-called white progressives to put some skin in the game. It's not just showing up on the polls of election day with whatever your agenda is. It's being out with the people. It's looking at the issue not only of policing, but making sure that they're held accountable. How can you allow these officers to be in this building and not once call for accountability for any of them? It's completely unacceptable. And then when we go look at our criminal justice system, how many black bodies, brown bodies, poor bodies, people with mental health issues locked up in the criminal justice system? If you progressive, take your ass to the DOC and advocate for a change. If you progressive, why the hell are we 50th in the nation when it comes to educating black children? Your children okay? Where you at? Go to the Department of Education and demand justice, transparency, accountability, and equality. So I'm not trying to hear somebody who's telling me vote this way, vote that way, jump on this bandwagon, jump on that bandwagon. No, I'm standing on the shoulders of those who have come before me, whose bloodline runs through my veins, who sees the injustices in this system, and they're nudging us, keep going, keep fending, keep fighting, don't give up, don't stop, don't shut up. We have to do what we are called to do in this day and age. And I refuse to be tricked. I refuse to be hoodwinked. I refuse to be bamboozled. I don't give a damn if what I say is popular or it's not. It's the truth anyway. It is the truth. And I will continue to speak the truth. And at the end of the day, we know that there's more people like Kyle Rittenhouse that are out there. We know it's more militiamen. We know it's people who were empowered during the Trump administration that's still out there. We know they got high-powered weapons. So we have to make sure that we are preparing ourselves and we are understanding that this is not just fun and games and popularity. This is a real battle that we are in the midst of, so we need to prepare ourselves accordingly. I don't know about y'all, I was totally anti-gun before George Floyd was killed. And then when I saw all these white supremacists able to come into the Twin Cities, chase people, shoot people, and attack people and get away with it, I'm like, what was I see why Malcolm X had that shotgun standing at the door to protect his family. He didn't just have a hope and a prayer. He had firepower to protect his family. So at this point, I'm in a whole different space in terms of understanding what the Black Panther Party meant when they took to the streets to protect their community. So many of us went last summer. We got our carry and conceals. And we said, look, if we're going to be out here on the streets, we can't just hope our words and our chants protect us. We got to protect us because we all we got. Y'all see that first precinct is boarded up? They're not coming out here. We didn't call them out here. We don't want them out here. We have to protect us. So at the end of the day, realize the battle that we are in. Don't get tricked. Don't get bamboozled. Don't get hoodwinked. Don't let people continue to divide this movement. Because that's the sad part, right? Some of us are out here, and then the moment somebody comes with some new ideas and they haven't done shit before that, people running here, running there. And I'm steady as a rock, right? That's the bottom line, because I've seen the tricks and the traps that they've tried to put forward, and it is not beneficial to our community. So you got to show us a plan at the end of the day, a plan for what you want to do to transform policing, transform this city, bring some economic justice, and address the disparities that Black communities, indigenous communities, and other communities of color are experiencing. We deserve to be protected. We deserve to be respected. We deserve to be valued. Why? Because Black lives matter. Thank y'all. I love y'all.